Happy 2025, everyone. Holy crap, does Five Nights at Freddy's have a crap load of stuff coming this year. I mean, yeah, there's some other mascot horror stuff coming as well, but Five Nights at Freddy's has 3 games, a Dead by Daylight chapter, which is basically the equivalent of a game, the second FNAF movie, and another interactive novel, Escape the Pizzaplex. And the topic of this video, as you saw, is a FNAF interactive novel. So for those of you who don't know what the FNAF interactive books are, they are basically books that are made in the style of a game. And apparently they're also canon to the game's continuity. At first I was a little skeptical because in my mind the idea just didn't sit right. But after I read interactive novel Zero VIP, I was on board. And now that I've read the week before, I think I'm even more on board now. In case you're curious, VIP is a prequel to FNAF Security Breach. It's about an electronic pig character, and it also tells us some other stuff about the security breach animatronics. And the week before is a prequel to FNAF 1, where we play as Phone Guy, aka Ralph. It doesn't just tell us who killed him, but also answers a few other questions that we've had about the game since 2014. So now I bet you're wondering, if you haven't read Return to the Pit yet, then why are you making a video on it? Well, it's because it confuses me. So I have read the book's overview and also sampled the book. It says dive into an interactive retelling of one of the most popular FNAF stories and the basis for the hit video game Into the Pit. And the sample included 20 pages of the story and starts out similar to the Into the Pit book and game. You play as a boy named Oswald, and his father drops him off at a restaurant called Just Pizza. And Oswald's upset with his father because there's nothing fun to do in town, and so he goes into the restaurant's ball pit. And then a big yellow rabbit follows him out of the ball pit and torments him and chases him around until he eventually gets brought back to the pit. Now this sounds like a good idea, and it sounds like a good book to go through. But the part where it confuses me is because the interactive books are supposed to be canon to the games. Now I'm not just getting the books because I want to get some more lore. I'm also getting them just for the enjoyment of reading a book. But if interactive books are supposed to be canon, then what does it mean for this book? Does it mean that it's tied into the games? Does it mean Into the Pit as a whole is game canon now, book and game? Does it canonize the game as a different story than the book? Does it canonize Fazler Frights to the games? Is Return to the Pit an exception and not canon? My brain had a meltdown and started short-circuiting. But then a few possible answer ideas came to mind. Idea 1. This does not canonize the Into the Pit book or game to the game's continuity. This is simply its own story that is in the games. Idea 2. This canonizes the Into the Pit game. But if that's all it does, and the book is another retelling of the original story, then why would you get the book when you just play the game? Honestly, it's hard to say if either of these are the right idea. The idea that sounds the most correct is idea 1. And if it is, where would it go in the FNAF timeline? Well, I like to think it would go somewhere around here. I'm not exactly sure if this is true, but in my mind, there isn't actually time travel, you know? It's simply just an agony-made illusion. I think a lot of people tend to forget is that the ball pit is made of agony, and the Into the Pit Spring Bonnie is an agony creature, not another animatronic. And Jeff's Pizza was a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but it isn't anymore. So I like to think that this is before FNAF 3, but after FNAF 1 location was closed. So basically somewhere in between 30 years between those two games. However, I'll never have an answer to this theory if I don't ever get the book. So this is where I want to ask you for help, dear viewers. A few days ago, I asked on my community poll if I should get the Return to the Pit book. So basically what I want you to do is decide for me. I want you to go to the poll and say yes or no. And if the majority of votes says yes, buy it, then I'll buy it. And if I do buy it, then I'll be sure to make a follow-up video later this year. Thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side. Goodbye for now, and happy 2025.